welcome to this week's edition of the Show and Tell Show. I'm sitting here with Shawn Yu.
Hello.
Two-time SCG Open top 8er and local Legacy juggernaut. We're going to do a quick deck tech on his Dark Maverick list.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's a Vial Maverick deck.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and run me down the creature suite here. Kind of the staples of what makes it Maverick.
Alright. Well, just to begin, this is a deck known as Vial Maverick, or actually originally called Maverick. I think it was developed by a Spaniard named Luis Viciano, and it kind of got superseded by the Green Sun Zenith version, but I think this is pretty well positioned right now. This is a bit of a hybrid between Maverick and Death and Taxes. You'll notice recently a lot of players have been splashing green to take advantage of Gaddock Teeg. This goes a little bit further in that direction, but I think it's been more like Death and Taxes than the traditional decks that we associate with Maverick. So you got 4 copies of Deathrite, because, I mean, one of the best creatures in the format, and it's in color.
Alright.
You got only 3 copies of Mother of Runes, but you have 2 Sylvan Safekeepers kind of acting as your 4th and 5th copies with haste.
Okay.
You got 4 Thalias, because these are just insane right now against all these decks that want to cruise and cantrip, and often they'll get their card advantage, but they won't be able to actually beat the board because of the tempo that it takes to answer. You got 2 Gaddock Teegs, which are great against Treasure Cruise, Dig Through Time, and all the sweepers, and all the miracle cards, in fact.
And can I stop real quick?
Yeah.
So, I feel like everybody right now is trying to just get, like, anything to stop the Treasure Cruise menace. How effective do you feel like Gaddock Teeg has been in this deck at fighting Treasure Cruise and the Treasure Cruise decks?
Actually, interestingly, I think Thalia has been a little bit better at fighting Treasure Cruise than Teeg. It's just, it's been hard to remove. You got a lot of creatures that they really want to kill early on. And Thalia prevents them from cantripping and eventually getting cruise. And sometimes they will manage to cruise, but then they don't have enough mana to actually answer the board, and you could put a pretty quick clock on them for reasons I'll explain later.
Okay.
But Gaddock Teeg is nice when it sticks. Often I'll see a player holding a Jace, Force of Will, and a Dig Through Time, and just I vial in a Teeg, and they're just crying.
Alright.
But anyways, to continue with this theme, you also got Weathered Wayfarer. It's a bit of an interesting card. Probably doesn't look too impressive to many of you, but it's actually very well positioned in this deck. Totally earns its slots.
And is this your edition, or did you pick this up from someone else?
Yeah, this is Luis's, the original Maverick Players edition to the deck, and it was actually a descendant of a blue-white tempo deck that was popular in 2009. This is really nice because it could fuel your Sylvan Safekeepers, which also allow you to activate it, along with your Scryb Rangers. This has a utility toolbox that you can get as well, and keep in mind that the restriction only checks on activation, so you could chain Wastelands by wasting them and responding with an activation, find another Wasteland, and combined with Thalia and creatures protecting them, you could really just like shut down someone's mana base.
So spicy.
It's pretty cool.
Alright.
Moving on, we got Qasali Pridemage, because an opposing Jitte and occasionally other enchantments or artifacts are troubling. Scryb Ranger may seem a bit underwhelming, but it blocks Mendelian, clicked over secrets all day long, and it allows you to supercharge your Mother of Runes, your Deathrites, and especially your Sylvan Safekeepers, because it lets you return that land and then dig up new ones like twice a turn.
Right.
And then finally, the creature that you really want to like strengthen everything is your Stoneforge Mystics, and it's got 4 different equipments in this deck, so it's quite a toolbox package to beef up your suite of 1/1s and 2/2s, which is why I think this compares very much with Death and Taxes.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the 4 equipments that you have, because that's 2 more than most Stoneforge lists run. Yeah.
Well, most Stoneforge lists are usually in a blue, more control-oriented shell, and Jitte and Sword of Fire and Ice are pretty standard in Death and Taxes type decks. Sword of Light and Shadow is actually a pretty common card now in Reigning Maverick decks, because Miracles often can't beat a Gaddock Teeg protected by Sword of Light and Shadow.
Okay.
It's also great on a Scryb Ranger, just pro blue, pro white, as well as pro black. Batter Skull is not really something that's been played a lot in Maverick decks, but of the Delver decks, I find that blue-red gives us the toughest time, so it's a bit of concession to that matchup. Because they have so many creatures they have to deal with early, you want to try to overtax their bolts, and if you could stick a Stoneforge Mystic and protect it, often that's enough to beat their Pyromancer tokens and their Split Spears.
Okay. And then for removal, you have a pretty standard 4 Swords to Plowshares, and then the namesake of the deck, the 4 Aether Vials. Tell me a little bit about the land base that you have going on here.
Yeah, the land base, you got, it's a primary green-white deck, and the sideboard, in the main deck, you don't have any reason for the black splash, so there's just the Scrubland and the Bayou. You got 6 fetches to search up these 3 duels, and then you got the basic forest and plains. Obviously, with Weathered Wayfarer and also in some decks, Knight of the Reilquary, you have a bit of a toolbox package you can search for. You got your 4 Wastelands, which are terrific with Weathered Wayfarer. Sometimes you get a little bit flooded, so you got your 2 Horizon Canopies you could tutor up as well. These are especially nice because along with the fetch land, you could put it on the. You could play it to maintain land parity with your opponent, but then you could crack it and then maintain parity and get something else with your Wayfarer to get to thin out your deck and gain card advantage that way.
It's a pretty complicated stack interaction. I hope we get a chance to look at that later. Cause
yeah, we might.
Yeah.
And then finally, the last 2 toolbox lands. You got your Gaia's Cradle, because this deck often drops a ton of creatures into play and just wants to suit up a Jitte or maybe even hardcast Batterskull or play one of the swords and equip on the same turn. And finally, you got your Karakas, which is great because you can protect your legendary hate bears this way, and then often with an Aether Vial on 2, even a combo deck that tries to kill your creature or bounce your creature often allows you to just simply redeploy your hate bear and just prevent them from doing anything.
Yeah, I've definitely seen people use 2 or 3 removal spells just to get a single Gaddock Teeg out of your hand and off the board at the same time because of the Karakas Aether Vial interaction.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, well that's great. So let's shuffle up and play some games.
All right, great.